Yes, everybody, welcome back to Football United TV. This is United Across the Globe. I'm joined by three special guests. We got Rick, we got Matty, and we got Talk MU. Big up to them all. But you know what's coming right now? One of the best intros you've ever seen in your life. Well, I definitely think so anyway. Each to their own. Yes, people, welcome back to United Across the Globe. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We've done some amazing vlogs in the last 24 hours. Brilliant stuff. Thank you so much for helping us out. I'm joined by three special guests, shouting out Matty. How you doing, mate?
Oh, good here. Thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Sweating one off, as everybody is in the UK. Rick, how you doing, bro?
I'm good still, man. How you doing, lad?
Yes, mate. Sound as a pound. Sound as a pound. I'm just want to be by Paul right now, mate. You know what I mean?
Nah, tell me about it, man. Tell me about it.
Sweating like a bee hatch. Talk MU, how you doing? You all right?
Shout to me. You're talking about pants. I'll give you £45, a bag of twill, and a bit of lettuce. Okay? How's about it?
Sounds all right, yeah. I fancy a bit of salad now, Talk. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Would be nice, wouldn't it? A cool salad, you know what I mean? I'm happy with that. Yeah.
Well, I'd like things to be cool at Man United, but clearly things are heating up every single day. Hasn't got any better for us. We thought there was going to be change, a new transition, bringing in a new manager, having new directors and not just directors, but market people as well. And up top to bottom pretty much was going to be changed, apparently, is what the Glazers and everybody said, but it doesn't seem to be that way. So we have to pretty much start off on the Brighton disaster. Starting with you, Matty, what did you make of the game? Disappointing, of course, it was. Flat from our team as well. And I feel sorry for some of the new boys who have come into this establishment and it's not run very well, is it? From what we can see on the pitch and off.
No, but I look at the squad we put out and we've got the same midfield we had last season, Fred and McTominay. I didn't hold out much hope, knowing that they were going to be the two midfielders in there. I said before the game, I just wanted 3 points and a solid start to the season because I have very little faith in this current squad, especially in the midfield. And the midfield is the engine room and it's the key position on the pitch, and we're just non-existent there. We brought Martinez in. He's a fantastic acquisition, but one player ain't going to change it. I was watching a Ralph Rangnick press conference earlier, and he said, "No, we need open heart surgery. We've not had it. All we've had is minor tweaks here and there." So, although we lost, I kind of expected it. As disappointing as it is, I didn't see us winning that game. I was more hopeful we were getting 3 points. Brighton are a very good team. They're a very well-oiled team and coached. And their young lad in midfield, Moises Caicedo, who Scott McTominay should have been sent off for when he done that horrendous challenge on the young lad. We could have brought him for £5 million before we joined Brighton.
Yeah, Matty, I was going to say he was offered to us and we turned it down, and then he goes to Brighton and then literally just plays our midfield off the pitch. It was going.
A 19-year-old midfielder who we refused to buy outdoes our midfield, and our midfield's mid-20s, meant to be more experienced. It sums up where this club is at. Everything stinks at the club from top to bottom.
Yeah.
I don't blame any results on these players. I know they're not good enough. I don't expect Fred to turn into a prime Fabinho or McTominay to turn into a prime Rodri. I know they're not good enough. I know their levels are nowhere near good enough, so I don't blame them. I blame the people running the club. I blame the board. I blame the ownership. They've allowed this to happen, and we've seen year upon year from when Sir Alex left. The club has gone backwards. The club has gone downwards.
Yeah, it's go on, Matty. Go on. Get it out, bro.
At best, under Ole, who I think has been our best coach since Sir Alex, we kind of stagnated, slightly punched above our weight, if you will, with second and third place finishes, but we were never going to sustain it. And when you look at where we are now, I don't think we're a top 8 team, and I have very little expectations for this season and for this club in the future up until them American cretins finally get up and off. Until they go, my expectations are going to dwindle and dwindle and dwindle because I see them for what they are and I see this board for what they are. And fundamentally, that's the key element that needs changing.
It is, and you know what, Matty, as well, going through like the game, Rick, in Brighton, and I think the news come out that we were linked to Arnautovic and Rabiot. We will talk about Rabiot in a bit. I know the Arnautovic deal is off, thank God. But what did you make of this game, mate? And that news coming out as well. You kind of think, what has happened to Man United? People were laughing at us, like people that are from different clubs, from top to bottom, not just the top 5. To me, were laughing at these deals. It's crazy. It's like the only club in the Premier League that really hasn't sorted itself out.
I'll be honest with you, lad. Man United have a problem with friend zoning ourselves every time we try and get a transfer deal. Like, for example, De Jong, we should have just called it a day after 2 weeks, mate. The guy's not leaving Barcelona. Like, even like our targets as well, it's a bit too mismatched. Like, Man United, we clearly need a new CDM. We clearly need a striker, and we clearly need some other players in other positions. We've all identified that. But the problem with Man United Football Club is that we identify players that are not good enough or just a bit too old to play in those positions. And like you said, we were in for Arnautovic at one point. Thank God that's not happening. It was this, and also what's his name, Rabiot as well. And it's like, why am I United chasing people? It's like, what I'm basically trying to say is United need to stop these quick fixes. These quick fixes is not helping the club move forward. What we need to do is start again. And I hear what Matty was saying earlier, and I agree with everything Matty was saying. I have nothing really to add on top of what Matty said, because Matty basically hit the nail on the head. But what I've got to say is basically, Manchester United Football Club need to like take a lot of steps back and just realize, right, this is what we have, and we clearly know a lot of players are not good enough. If it was up to me, I'll just forget the season, mate. Sell a lot of players, get the kids from the academy just to fill in the gaps, and then it'll take probably 3, 4, probably even 5 years, but start buying proper players or start investing in players that would be here in like 5 years' time, 10 years' time, not some quick fix like Arnautovic or Rabiot, because all these quick fixes is the reason why we don't have a lot of team cohesion, and it's the reason why Man United hasn't gone forward. It's because, for example, I love Ronaldo, right? I love the guy, but when he wanted to leave, just let him go. We're forcing him to stay, and that's causing more division. And it's the reason why, as a team, we're not playing well together. And I feel like I don't know what's going on upstairs in the club, but whatever's going on upstairs, it needs a massive overhaul, mate. Because I think that's the fundamental problem with this club. It's what's going on in the board and the owners, mate.
Yeah, that's you know what, that's a good point. And Rick, the other thing as well that I kind of find a bit conflicting is the fact that Ten Hag is apparently the one that says he's come out and picked, but I guess this is his like third, fourth desperate hope of getting a player in after not being able to get the ones that he really wanted, because we all know who he wanted to get originally.
He wanted to get
he wanted to go to Anthony, he wanted Timber, he wanted Darwin Núñez, he wanted De Jong. That they were the 4 main players that he wanted. And if you imagine that we got these players in this summer, at least 3 of them, how amazing that team would look compared to what we've got now.
But I still feel like even if we was to get all those players, I don't think they would be as good at Man United if they went to, for example, Darwin Núñez. He's brilliant at Liverpool, but do you think he would be brilliant at Man United? I don't. And the reason why I say no is only because there's something going on in that club at the core, which is fundamentally ruining players and it's ruining the morale of the team and whatnot. And I've said this on Twitter. Forget this season. Get the Glazers to sell the club. Even demolish Old Trafford. Start that again, mate. Start everything again, because I feel like quick fixes is not going to help this club. We're going to be stuck in this position for a good 10, 20 years. And if we're not careful, we're going to do a Liverpool where we're going to go 30, 40 years without a league title, mate. And it's like...
You know why the Rabiot deal's taken so long is because he wanted to see when they got into the Champions League, because they just got knocked out last night, didn't they? So it's PSV and Rangers in the qualifier to reach the Champions League. Monaco were in it yesterday. They were in for him, but they were waiting to see whether they would get Champions League or not.
But why are we going for Rabiot for? Why are we going for that guy? Let's be realistic now. He's a decent player, but he's not going to fix our midfield. He's not going to be... Is he better? The question I'm really asking is he better than Frederick McTominay in that role? And to be dead honest with you, he's on the same level as them, but I don't think he's going to push the team forward. And it's like, why are we going for these types of players? I think Man United need to just take a step back and just start going for like some left field players, someone that we don't know, give them a try. Because we're at a situation where we've gone for the established players, it didn't work. We've gone for like some kids, it didn't work. Might as well do something different, go a bit left field. And going back to the Brighton game, I watched that game and it was just, what I saw was just telltales of Man United for the last 5 years. Players out of position, players not going into different zones when they should be tracking back or whatnot. The team not being able to string a simple pass, players not beating guys on the wings. It's like, I've been on there a few times and I've said the same thing, and it's almost like I'm beating a dead horse at the end of the day, man. It's gotten to a point where I'm kind of giving up hope with the club, to be honest, mate. I'm giving up hope. That's why I watch cricket more than I watch Man United nowadays, to be honest. I used to the cricket in England are not too bad, but Man United, I don't know, man. Generally, lads,
it's crazy, isn't it?
It's
but
crazy.
we got the same problem, and I want to reach out and talk with this as well with Gakpo, because obviously he plays for PSV, correct?
I think he does.
And they're obviously going to be qualifying for the Champions League if they beat Rangers. So we have to wait now to see whether this is how confusing this is going to be. So we might have to wait until the last day of the transfer window to find out whether we get Gakpo or not.
Sorry to cut you up. Sorry, guys. But why is it Man United, a club of our stature, are taking so long to get players? What's going on? Why is it takes us a whole bloody summer to buy a player? Like Sancho, the exact same thing a couple summers ago, last summer, I think. It took us all summer to get him. Who are we hiring to do our transfer deals? Like, you might as well put me in there, mate. I'll probably have a higher chance of getting these guys in the club quicker than these lads. What's going on? Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, maybe you can answer Rick on that. What's going on, bro? What's going on?
Well, it's a strange time at the club, isn't it? We've got these 2 new guys, apparently, Arnold and Murto. Now, but what we've got to remember is that their job is limited to what the owners. It seems to me like there's like a maze. There's like a maze that they have to go through, and when they finally find themselves out of that maze, then they have to wait for the big decision from the main man, which is Joel Glazer, all the way over in the States. You know what I mean? He's then got to sign it off. So it looks to me like this is a because they're so tight-fisted and they want to skim as much money as they can. Every decision they go and identify. If they get a player identified to them, they will go right. Okay, let's have a look at this. We'll go and put this to Joel Glazer first thing. Right, this player here, right? He'll look at that. Then he'll go and speak to the stats people. Does he look like he'll fit in with what we're looking for? stats people go back and say yay or nay. They say yeah, he'll go, right, okay then, have a think about it. Go back to them and go, yeah, okay then, well what kind of money are we talking? Bam. They then go off and do their own work, look at the monies, come back to Joe Glazer, give him a figure, and he then goes, oh, well, let's have a look. I'll have to have a look at this, and we'll look at what I'll get back to you, right? Because this is what you do when you're a miser. You're penny pinching all the time, thinking about future earnings in terms of dividends, etc. Right? And this is what's going on at the club. Everything is focused around how much money can we take out. So they have to consider every single little thing. So it's an absolute shambles, of a way to run a football club. If it was a business that was selling just football shirts, right, different story, because no doubt they do quite well, but it ain't. This is a football club, not a business. Now, when they first bought the club, it was a big red flag then. Businessmen who work with franchises in America, buying a football club in England, it's a total mismatch. It's like me trying to put on size 5 trainers. Can't do it. I'm not going to get my foot in them. You know what I mean?
I always get hungry when I hear the word franchise, because I just think of French fries.
French fries. Well, that's it. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's a French fries, isn't it? So, but again, like what you're saying there about with the actual team, for example, with the Brighton disaster. I mean, this is for me. Rick was kind of touched on it there. It doesn't, in my opinion, as well. It doesn't matter if we bring in Frankie De Jong, if we bring in whoever else.
Exactly.
2-3 players. It's the mood of the club and the mood of the fans, the feeling of the fans. That is a constant. You can't. If you're at school studying, right, and you want to do well in your exams, you can't study in a house full of arguments because you can't concentrate. You can't do it.
Yeah.
And this is what we've got here with the team. It's like studying in a house full of arguments. And for me, that's one of the one of the main issues here we've got. It's bad.
But talking about that, just to throw in this spanner in the works, these people that are coming out saying that there could be a potential what do they call it? A hostile consortium, yes, to try and get the Glazers out. These guys, I mean, are they going to have enough money to do it? Is it going to be better for us as a club that this might happen if it does? Because I don't actually necessarily believe it. I know the guy in the 80s was kicking the ball around at Old Trafford saying he was the new Messiah and he was going to be able to get Man United out of the crap, and he ended up like not being able to do that at all. So I don't know whether you give second chances.
Do you know what this is? I'll tell you exactly what this is. Right? I'll tell you exactly what this is.
PR.
This is us. This is what Michael Knighton is doing. It's like, when you go hunting, you send the dog in to scare the birds, right? This is what's going on right now. Michael Knighton and his consortium are going in with this hostile bid. You see, that's the main word, hostile. It's a hostile takeover offer, right? An attempt. The reason why they're doing that, in my opinion, is because Jim Ratcliffe, he does not want to get himself involved in a hostile takeover of a football club, right? He will not go, and he made the bid for Chelsea, blah blah blah. He won't go to Man United, wielding his wallet and going, "I want to buy this club," and the Glazers start going, "Okay, well, it's going to cost you $6 billion," right? You don't want to get into all that nonsense, toing and froing. No, this is them going to the Glazers and offering. I don't know what they're offering in terms of how much it is. But what I think is going on here is they're just drawing out the what the Glazers are going to do. If the Glazers react in a positive way to their bid, which could be 3 billion or 3.5 billion, and if they say, "Okay, we've received the offer and we are considering it in a roundabout way," if they come out and say something like that, for me, that is the moment that Jim Ratcliffe will then make his intentions clear.
Spot on.
Makes sense. Do you agree with that as well, Matty? What's your thought?
I do, but I question this Red Knight group. I believe he was part of a takeover that was going to happen before. It was mentioned a few years back. I can't remember it exactly when. The Red Knight Consortium, I believe they were called.
Mm.
Yeah. They got nowhere. I've read reports the Glazers are defiant and they're determined to keep hold of the club. Now, when he says hostile takeover, that I'm laughing, and I tell you why. Manchester United is a private company. Manchester United is a private company. Yeah. So when he sits down and goes, it's a hostile takeover. It's not a hostile takeover, and it's what the club is valued at. Whatever the Glazers determine the value of the club at. The club could be valued at 4 billion by professional football finance people, but because it's privately owned by the Glazers, they could sit there and go, "We want 25 billion." They'd have to match their price tag. It's that they go, the club's only worth 4 billion, so we're only giving you 4 billion. It's the value of the club is determined by the Glazers.
Yeah.
And this Michael Knighton, I've done a bit of research into him. He's got a fortune of around £5 million. I don't think the Glazers are going to bat an eyelid at him or at this supposed hostile takeover.
You need, Matty, United need something like what Newcastle had, what Man City have got, what PSG have got. That's definitely what they need.
Yeah.
That sort of money,
Yeah.
like where you can throw it down. It doesn't even like really pinch your wallet. And
Well,
I think that this consortium thing is a really difficult thing because what they're trying to achieve is to gather money from other people, and then somebody's going to have the right to spend other people's money, which is going to conflict so much at the club and make it worse. It's sort of like when a country's liberated and then like they go at civil war because they're disputing about who's spending what money and that. And I just see that happen at Man United with this. I just want to see someone come in and go, right, we got hundreds of billions. We'll give them like 15 billion or whatever. They wouldn't do that, but I'm just saying. What? I'm sorry.
The thing is what we've got to consider here. I know what Matt is saying, but what we've got to consider here is, I don't believe for 1 minute that Michael Knighton would. I don't think he'd embarrass himself like he has, in this fashion. And secondly, like I said, the Glazers, if Michael Knighton and this consortium do have them kind of finances, the Glazers they have to look at it. They've got, they will go forward. They will put that bid in because they're saying there is a reason as to why they are saying it's a hostile takeover, because what they're trying to do is they're saying in a roundabout way, you are not fit for purpose at this club, which is a business, granted, but it's a football club, a sports club for the fans, everything else. They are not fit to run it in the way it's being run currently. It's not working. And again, also the fact that if the Glazers tried to take the club over now, the way they did when they did in 2005, the Premier League would say, no, you can't do that. So there is two huge points here that are going in favour of the Red Knights, in my opinion. And again, if they've got the money, the Glazers are, lawyers and whatnot will say, okay, well, look, if you're trying to do this takeover, we've got to look at it because this is in the public's interest, us, the fans, whether it be private or not. The club belongs to us, not them. This is our club, okay? So they have to look at it. If the lawyers look at it and go, you know what? Actually, yeah, this stacks up. The money's there. That's then the point. Like I said, the Glazers then go, okay, well, all right, what do we do here then? Because there's an opportunity here for the Glazers to actually walk away with probably maybe the north side of £3 billion when they didn't.
You know what they'll do? They'll go. During our time, we won a Champions League. We got to two.
You know it, yeah. You know it.
We won Premier Leagues. We won FA Cups. We won the Europa League, World Club Cup as well. They'll say they've dominated football, and they'll take it over to America and sell it out to the Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans and be like, yeah, we are the best owners they can be, and then they'll be fooled by it as well. 'Cause actually, I think apparently that they're not too keen on the owners either. So I don't know whether there's a bit of conflict.
Can I just point something out, though? Let me just point something out. The Glazers, apparently they're worth 3.9 billion. Apparently, that's what we're being told. That's what the sources you look on the internet. That's how much they're supposedly worth. However, they do not spend a penny of their own money, as we know, at the club.
Finesses,
So,
mate.
yeah. So either this whole process, in my opinion, this whole process, what we're hearing about now, can only end in a positive way. It either ends in the Glazers selling the club, or it ends in the Glazers actually going, you know what, shit, we need to start spending some money here.
Yeah.
Because not only because of that, but also because, remember when we talked about the ESL, and we were saying about, look, the football especially here in the Premier League, the cost of just challenging for the Premier League is massive, right? It's massive, and that cost is every season. You've got to spend serious money every season for most clubs. Look at Manchester City. Every season they spend serious money. Look at Liverpool. Every season they spend really good money. Right? Manchester United, yeah, we have spent good money in the past, but on one player. It's not been the right player. You know what I mean? Blah, 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 blah. So, but going forward, can I ask you, any of you, can you tell me that the price of football is going to go down? Because it ain't. It's going up.
Nah. Football, the only way football price will go down is if football collapses itself. And I feel like football is so popular and there's so many people that are happily bankroll it, it will just keep getting more and more and more expensive year in, year out. Plus, and you're getting these TV deals. Obviously, the TV deal we have right now is a rollover from a TV deal from 2-3 years ago because obviously COVID in between. So the government improved it. But after 2024-25 season, Sky, BT, Amazon, whoever else wants to put money, it's going to throw a boatload of cash at football. So football, to win the Premier League, I don't know how much it costs to win the Premier League exactly, but it's up there in the high hundreds of millions. I'd even say it's not too far away from £1 billion if you want to win the Premier League. Look how much money City has spent to even have a sniff and to even start dominating it now. So I feel like football, until people run out of money, that economy will just keep booming, mate. It's going to keep.
I mean, Rick, you got to look how big Leicester are since they won the Premier League.
Oh, they're massive
around the world as well. Is it Malaysia? Is it Malaysia?
No, Thailand.
Sorry, Thailand. But yeah, the Far East anyway in general is big for Leicester, and that's an amazing achievement for a club like them that were in League One at some stage. So it is booming, isn't it? But there is this thing coming out of the news recently about the Super League still going ahead without the English clubs because they still think they can make a bigger profit than their own domestic leagues can. So that will be interesting.
Can I be honest?
Yeah, go.
Can I be honest? I think the English clubs will join the Super League at some point.
Yeah.
Only the reason why they didn't join when they initially were meant to join was only because the fans had a backlash, and the fans were like, "No, don't do this. It's a bad idea." But give it, I don't know, if the Super League was to rebrand itself, repackage itself, a lot of fans will be into it. And I spoke to a lot of fans at the time that were in support of the Super League because they were interested in seeing the Man Uniteds versus the Barcelonas week in, week out. They were interested in seeing that. So the interest is there. I feel like the Super League, once the teams that do it initially show the English teams that here's how much money you can make, guarantee you the top 6 sides will happily run to that league as well. Guaranteed, mate. It's going to happen at some point, whether we like it or not. It's like what's going on with the Super League. That's what's going on with cricket at the moment. Cricket is going away from Test cricket. It's now going into franchises because that's where all the money's at the moment. Same thing's going to happen in football. You're going to realize that these Champions Leagues and that, even UEFA are also the bad guys. They're
doing the same, aren't they? It's going to be
the exact same thing. Just because UEFA are doing it, the Champions League's so old and we all value the Champions League, we're all accepting of it. Trust me, lads. Trust me. Once the Super League is up and running and it's shown that it can make a lot of money, trust me, all the English teams will go to it. And in my opinion, that will be the beginning, the end of football. In my opinion,
I kind of still think it'll be quite a long way because Barcelona are in such jeopardy.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. It'll be a long way because Barcelona. I don't know where they get the money from, to be honest.
Actually, do you know what? It's funny you say that because I think the total opposite of what you just said, Matt. I think Barcelona will be the catalyst for the ESL.
Mate, have you not heard about
to
what's
come
his
into
name
existence.
from Chelsea, who's just signed from Christensen? Yeah,
He might leave.
have you heard about his
Anchor,
all his Twitters and Instagrams? He's changed it all. He was Barcelona, right? He's changed
Yeah.
everything on his social medias back to Chelsea. His profile picture is him in a Chelsea shirt. Gone back. They're in crap,
Yeah.
mate. He's going to have to go back to Chelsea on a free, and they still have to pay the fee.
But this is the thing: is what Barcelona are doing, in my opinion, is they're using their weight because they have got a lot of weight in world football. They are using their weight to in order to get to a point where now, because I tell you right now, if these by Saturday, I'm hearing if they haven't got rid of Frankie de Jong on paper, they can't register the players, and then them players are going to get bought by other clubs and all the rest of it. In my opinion, that might actually suit Barcelona because then they've got a real gripe. They've got a real gripe because then
I mean, look,
they
there's
can
more.
turn.
They're starting to sell their stadium name and everything years in advance.
And
that's all a big. It's a big con. That's a big con. It's not a big con.
Barcelona.
It's a big con, that, right? But listen, they are now going to put themselves in a position where they're going to, be, like I said, a catalyst for the ESL because
I like that word.
Everything goes
Catalonia, yeah.
Yes, if everything goes south on them now with all these players, then they can turn their attention away from some of the problems they've got at the club into why have these problems happened. They'll turn their focus onto UEFA. Everyone will start looking at UEFA and going, yeah, hold on a minute. Yeah, wait a minute. And Barcelona can then use whatever they've got to, like I say, put the spotlight on UEFA. Then UEFA are going to be on the spot. It's a case of, look, because of the way you've done things, this club, this giant club in world football, with arguably the best player in the history of football, has played for this club, right? And we give you the best player and all the blah, blah, blahs. Then that's down to you. Now, UEFA don't want that. No way do they want that. So I'm telling you right now, there's something going on at Barcelona there's more to it than meets the eye because it's all too simple. Look at it. It's all too simple. I mean, what day is it today? It's Thursday.
Yeah.
2 days. Well, a day. You're looking at the rest of today and then all of Friday for them to get rid of Frankie de Jong. No chance. It's not going to happen. Unless he magically, unless they totally like hoodwink him into signing some crazy deal that keeps him at the club.
Talk even if they get rid of him, that's only 10% of what they need to do in order to be able to sign the players that they already have, like Lewandowski, Rafinha. We just talked about Christensen. They are in a very bad state, and I think the Liga are doing the right thing. This is why I think I agree with you as well. Talk is because they're trying to emulate what the Premier League is, and the reason why the Premier League's so good is because it is so tight. You can face the bottom team and you can lose. In La Liga, it doesn't quite happen like that. It's quite pretty much the El Clasico. Bilbao sometimes make a surprise, and you've got Valencia and Atletico, obviously. That's why they won that league during that time when they had the wages deferred from the top two big clubs. Is Atletico Madrid won the league that year, so that just shows you that you can be that sort of sider and dominate, and that's what they kind of want. They want to see other teams like Valencia, who did win it under, I think, Rafa Benitez quite a long time ago, but that was a rarity, wasn't it? But to talk about Gakpo and Rabiot interest, because we have to move back on to Man United. I do love Super League talk because we know it is going to happen again someday, Rick, talk and Matty. But is this going to happen? Is Gakpo going to happen? I know we've dealt with Rabiot's mum finally. I think she's cleared the airways. We're going to give her some Chanel No. 5 for the rest of her life. She's happy about this deal. Matty, start off with you, mate. What do you think, mate? Good deals?
Gakpo. I'm split on Gakpo. I mean, he's a good player. He scored 20 odd goals in the Eredivisie last season. But it's a right-footed, left-sided player. We've got players in that position. We need a right-sided player. We need a through-the-middle player. All it is a good squad acquisition. I think there's better options out there, and it's not a key area we're looking to fill. For some reason, we seem to be going top heavy on the left-hand side again. We've got Rashford who can play there. We've got Sancho who can play there. We've got Garnacho who can play there. We've got Elanga who can play there. We've only really got Sancho and Elanga for that right-hand side. And for me, Elanga's not good enough. He should be a squad player at best. So, we've got very limited options on that right-hand side. I don't think Gakpo is the answer. What annoys me is, in May, we could have got Anthony for around 40 to 50 million pounds from Ajax. The board sat there, unsure of finances, and so we neglected on making that move. And now it's 100 million pounds. Through the Glazers and the board's inept attitude towards this transfer window and this rebuild, we're missing out on players in key positions. And
we're having to wait, Matty, as well, aren't we? We're having to wait for Gakpo to see whether he can get into the Champions League, because he'd rather stay if he's in an elite competition. This is crazy.
So we're waiting on a player in a position in which we're top heavy. So it sums up our transfer window, and it's the same with this Rabiot lad. Yeah, you've been looking to get rid of him for what, 2, 3, maybe 4 years. He's nothing but a problem maker. You look at his history with PSG, it's nothing but issues. With the French national team, nothing but issues. With Juve, nothing but issues. And when people talk about his difference to McTominay, if you look at his stats, they're actually worse than McTominay. His stats are actually worse than McTominay, and is supposedly in an inferior league.
Don't tell me that.
His stats are worse than McTominay's, and he's in an inferior league. I'm sorry, that signing, Rabiot, stinks of shit. We fucked up. Sorry for swearing. We need to get something done quickly. We need to get a player through the door. We need to start getting stuff done. I don't see where he would fit into an Eric Ten Hag team. He's not got the capabilities, and it's a problem. On the basis we're trying to do rebuild, and we're talking about getting players out the door who don't want to be here, who might cause issues in the dressing room. Why are we looking to create another problem in the dressing room by bringing in a player like him? And is he an upgrade? No, it's actually a downgrade on what we have. And I didn't think to the day where I say it's a downgrade of what we have when we have Fred and McTominay in there. And between the pair of them, I could do a better job on my own in there.
Matty, I guess like what you're trying to say is it's like bloody getting Ronnie and Reggie Cray and not only getting one of them, basically. It's, Arnautovic and bloody Rabiot together. That's like the two Crays, isn't it? You just say just one of them, and it might be all right. You won't get any danger.
It's
diabolical.
It's right. Between Rabiot and Arnautovic, I'm not sure how to word it, but it's like asking which particular side of an asset you want removing. Yeah, I don't want any of them. No, keep them. Rabiot, I'm sorry, is not good enough, and is a problem. His history tells you he's a problem. And Arnautovic, I would have to question whether I could continue supporting Manchester United should they sign him. Yeah, he's a known racist. He should be nowhere near Manchester United. And one of the scary things is Richard Arnold done their videos with the fans in the pub. And one of the key things he said was, have you done your due diligence on these players? Well, evidently they haven't, because if they have, they know what Marco Arnautovic is, and that's a two-bit racist scumbag who shouldn't even be on a pitch. Yeah, let alone looking to sign him for one of the biggest teams in world football. What does that say about the club? And what does it say about Manchester United's racism campaign when they're looking to sign a known racist?
Matty,
it's utterly disgusting and disgraceful.
I agree.
And Matty, the thing is as well is we had to scout Ten Hag as well. So they obviously knew what he wanted as a manager coming in, and they haven't actually gone with apparently what his CV is, which is someone who brings up youth, brings players through that are young, not trying to buy 33-year-old Arnautovic's and Rabiots that are pretty much off the radar, right, Rick?
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I agree with what you guys are saying, man. I feel like the club itself, I don't know, like I said earlier, I don't know why we're going for some quick fixes and some mismatch players. Like, I don't know much about Gakpo, so I won't really comment on him. But Rabiot, like, I totally agree with Matty's points about him. He's crap. Why are we going for him? And then Arnautovic, I agree again. It's like, Man United literally made a statement saying we're against racism. We're united against racism. And then we're trying to get a guy that's a known racist in his past clubs. So I don't know what's going on there, to be honest with you, lads. I don't know. Thank God, obviously, that deal has fallen through. Because I'll be honest with you, if he came to the club, I wouldn't watch United. And also, I know if he came to the club as well, he wouldn't get us goals. That's for sure, mate. He wouldn't get us goals. So, I don't know.
Done by UEFA, wasn't he? He got banned
Yeah.
from the Euros. So it isn't just like rumour in the press. He got banned for it. He got done for it. So, legit.
So for jumping in, there's two known incidents. He used a derogatory word against a fellow professional in the Eredivisie back in, I believe it was 2016-2017 season. Got a 1-game ban for that. And then you had the international incident where David Alaba actually grabbed him round the throat because of something he said.
Was it about the Albania situation?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Said, I'm doing something to your mother unrespectively. You probably know what we're talking about. I don't want to go too much into detail because it wasn't literally by law that he was convicted or anything, but by UEFA and people that are around that heard what happened. So, sorry, Matt.
But it's two separate cases of a player showing what they are as a person and as a character. And I don't want that sort of character at my club. And if the Glazers and this board are serious about getting the club back to competing, which I highly doubt they are, they wouldn't even be contemplating that, looking at signing a player like
him. But mate, this is the thing. Ten Hag and Steve McLaren have worked with Arnautovic before. This is where I think that the link you kind of think like maybe they actually did push his name through as a desperation, unfortunately.
But what is well, I want to know. What I want to know is who does Ten Hag actually want, and why are we not getting these players that he wants? Because this happened under Mourinho, Oli, Van Gaal, and Moyes. It's happened. This has gone on even under Fergie. We had an issue where for example, everyone knows this. Man United in for Snyder. How many summers did I hear we're gonna get Snyder, and it never happened?
Still going now, mate.
Still going on now, mate. I'm hearing the rumors now. Snyder's gonna come on and bag a couple goals for us, mate. I want to know what the hell is going on, mate.
We got Snyder in instead.
I just want to know, mate, what is going on at the club and why are we struggling to buy players? Because even when we were getting Champions League football, we were struggling to get players. So it's either we friend zone ourselves too quickly in these deals, or we just don't know how to negotiate at all, to be honest. And sometimes I point the fingers at the board, I point the fingers at the director of football, I'm pointing the fingers at everybody, mate.
Mate, I wouldn't trust sending the directors and the people in charge of negotiations to go into McDonald's to buy me food. Mate, they'd come out and go, I wanted the double Whopper cheeseburger, and they come out with chicken nuggets, like a couple of sachets of sauce, some water, you know. What have you done? Like, I wanted a milkshake, I wanted fries, I wanted large fries, and they just come out with like pretty much everything that was nothing cheap that you could get for free. And that's exactly how I feel as a fan.
I'm starting to think as well, the guys that are meant to do the transfer deals, they go on holiday. They just go to these places to try the local delicacies, not actually buying the players. 100%. I think Richard Arnold went to Barcelona to try the tapas stuff, mate. He didn't go there to get Diog. He went there to go and try the tapas. He put all of it on expenses. He just honestly, mate, because I'm thinking, I've seen this geezer in Barcelona, apparently. He's in Barcelona. He's doing a negotiation deal with whoever at Barcelona. And then we just never get over the line. So I'm thinking, either they're conning us, which I think is true. I think they're conning us, to be dead honest with you. Or it's just genuinely our club stinks and nobody wants to go near our club at all. And I think it's a combination of both, mate.
You'll find out that it'll be John Murta signs for Barcelona as new negotiator. Happy with the deal. It's been 3 months in the waiting. He just left Man United. It's not all for him, right, Matt?
Yeah. I wasn't expecting much the moment they pushed Ralph out the door. Ralph, for me, was key to what was going to happen in this transfer window. And I know they sit there and they say, well, Eric didn't want him. I'm not buying that because he wouldn't be working with Eric. Yeah, he'd be working with John, he'd be working with Darren, and he'd be giving them his contacts and he'd be helping them negotiate, teaching them the negotiation skills needed,
But Matty,
helping them build up them contacts.
Darren Fletcher's just been told to go and watch Sarr at Watford. No one's looking at Sarr. Why is he scouting him recently? Why is he scouting him at Man United? Darren Fletcher's going to Watford to scout Sarr, who nobody's looking at. No one's ever looked at him, even when he was in the Premier League or before. So I wonder why. I don't think that's Eric Ten Hag telling him to go out and see these players, is it?
I'll tell you what's going on. The Glazers have told the board what to say. We've seen that with them videos, which I believe are PR stunts by Richard Arnold. Because there's
100%.
There's a few things I've not had answered yet, and if anybody can answer them, please help me. Yeah,
help in the comments if you can. Help out, Matty.
Yeah. Give me the answer though. He intercepted them. Yeah, when he found out they were going to go to his house. Well, one, how did they find out where he was living? Nobody's told me that yet. I've not seen that put anywhere. And two, yeah, how did he manage to contact him to arrange to meet him at the pub? I've not seen that. I've not seen that basic communication he put out anywhere. It's like me coming to protest at your house, Matt, and you find out without me telling you. How do you know I'm coming to your house to protest? You don't. So for me, that is whole PR bullshit. And do you remember Ed Woodward? He had the fans turn up outside his house that one night, and one of them just so happened to be a journalist from The Sun, who Manchester United incidentally took a journalist from for PR. I believe the journalist's name was Neil Custis or Sean Custis.
Yeah.
Stinks of PR BS all over again. And it's why I was very early on the Arnold out, the Mert out, the Fletcher out, the Boyle out, and I stick by it because all I see is Ed Woodward 2.0. They're doing the same as what he did. They're just not spending the money playing FIFA career mode. That's the only difference. If he was playing FIFA career mode, these are ain't.
Yeah, I completely agree, Matty. I think there is something wrong with that situation and the fact that he went for a pint with the fans and said that the money's there, and yet they're saying that you can't have this player because we can't afford him. So that doesn't make sense. Bloody contradiction, right? Talk as well. That's a slap in the face, isn't it?
Massive,
mate. And you know what? This is the thing with that Arnold pub meet thing. I mean, come on. Did we really believe for 1 minute that was, just a coincidence and everything just sort of
no coincidence for me? No way.
You know what I mean?
He bought the fans a pint. That was about it, Talk. That's all.
Listen.
That came out of his pocket as well, not the Glazers.
We have to remind ourselves of one. Like, look, let's just. This is we are in a pattern, a loop with Manchester United and the owners and the board. How many players have we supposedly been linked to that we haven't got, that all the other teams have gone and got?
I've not got that many fingers and toes to count, but
there you go. You know what I mean? So, Aguero, we was linked with. Bernardo Silva, we were supposedly linked with. Darwin Núñez, but then Liverpool just went boom, bam, jump, did the deal. You know what I mean?
Fabregas, Schneider, Kaká, Ribéry.
Ronaldinho at one point as well.
Ronaldinho was a done deal, and then Peter Kenya fucked us over. Sorry for swearing.
Yeah, that's all right.
Literally,
it is what it
is. Peter Kenyon agreed the deal for Ronaldinho in England, went to PSG to finalise negotiations, changed the price, and then he went off to Barcelona, which was gutting.
I kind of think that worked in our favour, though.
It did
because Ronaldo in the end.
Yeah, but we also missed out on Robin. I'd have loved Robin and Ronaldo either wing.
Ooh.
That would have been cooking.
All I remember of Robin is that goal he scored at Old Trafford, like the dink from the corner kick. Do you remember that Champions League?
I remember that one.
Yeah.
On the volley. Oh, and he went like that. Oh, hurt me. I wanted him straight away. I was like, I want you, mate.
Man, was in for it.
We were for a lot like everybody else, though, Matty. Right? Clearly, Pele apparently as well, and he's been retired for about 40 years. Brentford preview, everybody. We got 8 minutes left. What do you think about this game going into it? I mean, what can we say? We haven't even signed anybody since the last game. And is he going to change things up? Erik ten Hag? Is he going to make it interesting? Has he found out what happened with United last season and thought maybe I shouldn't actually go with last season's team and maybe bring on Malacia, start him, maybe. I think that would be a good idea. Luke Shaw had a bad game. Matt, start with you, mate. Brentford, what do you think?
Well, for a start, he has to drop Fred and McTominay. I want to see Garner in there. You can't go backwards from Fred or McTominay, although the club's trying it with Rabiot, as we talked about earlier. But I want to see Garner in there. Give him a chance. Yeah, even if you have to put one of Fred or McTominay next to him, just put the lad in there, give him a chance. I wouldn't mind seeing Bruno dropped. I think he's out of form. I think his confidence is suffering. I think get him at the limelight. Put Eriksen in there.
This is like the game before Liverpool. This is a really big deal because if we don't win this one, then we're probably not gonna. I hate to be so negative, but I don't see us beating Liverpool. I hate to say that.
With them, lads.
Yeah.
I want to see Garn. I want to see Garnacho play on the left hand side. Rashford to the bench. Talking of Rashford quickly, L'Equipe. Very credible French news outlet reporting PSG win for Rashford. Just thought I'd drop that out there. I saw that earlier today.
How's that going to work?
He'll go there and he'll sit on the bench.
No, I mean for us.
Definitely
going to work for PSG, isn't it?
I suppose it's money for the Glazers.
I mean, I don't even know how he's going to be, and that if we lose him and Ronaldo. What have we got?
We got nothing. It's why I think. It's why I've learned to temper my expectations this season. I want to see Garnacho on the left. Chuck the kid in, let him have a game. It can't be any worse than like Rashford. Rashford had a really poor game. Fred and McTominay combined had a poor game. So drop one of them, put Garner in there, drop Shaw, and any fan who says anything about Roberto Carlos. Over the next couple of games, I'm going to lose my marbles with. I am sick of hearing Roberto Carlos. Shaw is.
He's only living off that because of the Euros, mate. After that, he fell off, mate.
But they all have, though, Rick. They all have. Foden did. Grealish had a bad season. Kane had a bad season. Yeah, he did. Not as good, anyway. They all had a bad season.
No, I'll take Kane out of the list, though, because he then, near the end of the season last year, he was banging in goals, to be fair. Can't lie.
Yeah, but Maguire had a bad season. We can say that.
Maguire's terrible, man. He's terrible, man.
Here's the thing.
Not good, mate. Not good. What do you think, Rick, though, at the Brentford preview, mate? Do you think we've got a chance? Do you think we need to really go and get them 3 points to have any chance of... Are we contending for the Premier League this year?
I'll be honest with you, lad. Forget top 4. Forget top 6. We're literally fighting for our lives there, mate. So this Brentford game is important. We need to win the game because if we don't win this game, we're going to lose to Liverpool. And I don't know who we got after Liverpool, but it's going to look really bad. So we need to beat Brentford. But am I confident Ten Hag's going to do some big changes? I'm actually going to be real. I don't think he's going to do big changes to, I think Ten Hag will stick with McFred just because he knows McFred. He knows they can play in that position. And I feel like he's not going to take the risk yet because I feel like Ten Hag's still trying to figure out the team. He's still trying to figure out who's actually crap and who's actually good. That's
Rick, I want them to do a burger at McDonald's called the McFred. Like maybe put like chicken in one side and hamburger on the other because they don't mix together. But just have a bite. I just don't want the McFred thing. It always makes like the news, the press, everyone talking about McFred, etc. And I hear sometimes pundits saying that the attack's the problem, but I actually think the midfield's always been our problem, isn't it?
Yeah, midfields are a big problem because if you look at the goals we conceded as well, we lost the ball in midfield, which then led us, who were out, our defense, who were out of position, to then scramble back, and it's just a bit too late. You get overloaded on one side, and then some geezer comes in from behind. You got what's it called? Sorry, Maguire's too busy chasing some other geezer that he shouldn't be chasing. These are huge goal in defense, and then they score. And it's time and time after again, our midfield doesn't help our defense, and our defense doesn't help itself, and it's the reason why we concede a lot of goals. But also, I think as well, our attack is not good enough as well. Rashford hasn't beaten anyone in how many years? Sancho, we've given him a whole season to like bed in, and I felt like that last game he's a bit iffy. Ronaldo coming into the team unstabilizes the team a little bit. I know it's a bit controversial to say that, but I think he does because his play style doesn't suit the team. He doesn't have enough good players around him to play to his strengths, where he wants ball to feet, where he wants balls over his head, where he can just, tap it down, get a couple tapping goals and whatnot. He hasn't got creative players around him. Yes, we've got Eriksen to help, but what's Eriksen going to do? Eriksen on his own can't save Man United. And we've got Fernandes, he's a decent, I think he's a good player, but sprays the ball around too much. So, if I'm honest with you, lads, Brentford game, don't be surprised if we lose. Just letting you know, don't be surprised. But a draw is on, but I don't think we'll win. That's for sure. Don't think so.
No, yeah, and like it's Jadon Sancho coming to United is like a newbie going to a swingers party. It's just not comfortable at all. He doesn't know what to do, what keys to put in what basket. What do you make of this talk as well? And I think Sancho as well. I think he will be a good player. He's still young, and I think it's just you got to build your team around certain individuals. And I think apart from him, we don't have anybody else that you can really build around, can we? Especially with this Brentford game, mate. What do you make of that too?
Yeah, I am a bit nervous about this game, considering what we saw. The last game, 10 minutes at the start, looked like we were really in control. After that, went south. Second half, we tried, but just didn't try hard enough, in my opinion. As for the things that went wrong in that game, we've already pointed them out on the agenda, and I'm sure everybody's aware of them anyway. So we've just got to hope that Ten Hag is brave enough. I get with what Ricky's saying as well about, with McTominay and Fred, he knows them. They play the position and everything else. I mean, I'm saying it, but I'm saying it in the hope that it doesn't happen. But he may well be thinking to himself, you know what? This is all I've got to work with that I can trust to go out and actually do a job. He's just got to try and get the message across to them to, actually be better, just be so much better. But we all know that they are not that player. They cannot be better than they already are. They just can't. But what I'm hoping for, if I'm honest, is again, Malacia to start. Again, I would also go for Garnacho on the left. But also, what I would do is, if Maguire, Varane, Martinez, and Lindelof are fit, I would be putting in a combination of Maguire and Varane. But I would be putting Martinez in that midfield to play the deeper role. I really would, because
he has played it before.
Yeah, he has. If you look at how we conceded the goals, we don't really have anybody that type of player to identify early and break up, try and get up there and go, right, I need to give my defenders a chance here. So I've got to go and make myself noticed, be a pain in the ass, slow it down so that our defense, the rest defense, whatever you want to call it, can get settled back down and bam, in good positions where they're not scrambling back and looking and going, well, I've got to go with him and then you've got to go with him, but then there's players running on the blind side coming in round the back. It's just absolutely shambolic. So that's what I would go with. And I reckon if we did that, I think it'd be so much more difficult for teams to score against us. As for the top end of the pitch, if Ronaldo's fit, he's obviously going to start. There's no two ways about that. So, but I think young Garnacho, I think he could actually do a number there in that position. I do. I really think he could do a number.
I'd like to see him maybe at least get starting positions in the EFL and maybe FA Cup. If I don't know what we're trying to achieve this season, so I'm not sure what Ten Hag's going to go with. But we are pretty much there at the end, everybody. We're going to wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Smash the like, share, subscribe if you can. It's been a really good chat because it's so much turmoil going on at the club, and it's still nice to know that I think I've learned a lot from you guys as well about how you feel and how you understand things. And it's not just about reading what you see on social media and believing it, which is what a lot of people are doing right now, aren't they? They're not actually conversating. There is a split division in the United fan base, unfortunately, and that is obviously to do with the press and possibly the owners itself, because at the end of the day, bad news creates good vibes for ownerships like a franchise like Man United is, because we are pretty much a franchise now. And actually, if you haven't ever watched Moneyball, a Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill film, it's based on a baseball club. It's very similar to what's going on right now about basically making money without having to spend out a lot on players that you have in your team, and trying to make a team from people that are knocked off, like Arnautovic and Rabiot. You know, people that you don't really hear about, and you kind of think, well, now he's got a really weird sense of humor, or like something weird. And if you watch the film, like, you'll kind of understand like how it relates to football as well, because it kind of really does. You got to think like the Glazers. They are American sports enthusiasts. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in, though. Just a few comments. Matt, I think you might see Project Youth this season to where in the same boat we would not spend no more than 50 million. Actually, Arsenal are doing some amazing transfer deals. I would rather do the deals you're doing than the deals we're doing. Maybe we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
I think that you're doing very well. I'm not saying that it's going to be a struggle between both, but I think you've got more hype than we have. You've got a better manager at the moment. It's at the moment, that's because Arteta's been in there longer than Ten Hag. But I think Ten Hag is definitely better. Diop, Mamadou, big up to you, mate. Anthony Herbert, 1-1 draw against Brentford. Bargav, I'm hoping for a similar game for Man United. Man United all or nothing would be fantastic.
Oh, it would expose us too much, mate. If they had that, expose us too much.
They don't even do it. Amazon, do they? Just do their own thing, like just independently, because people will watch it, won't they? Even Spurs fans, Barcelona fans, Real Madrid fans, people all over the world will watch that. But the Arsenal one's in that anyway, isn't it? So some of the stuff they do is absolutely ridiculous.
I don't think they do it because it shows the ineptitude and how bad and poor owners they are of the club, and how bad the club's run internally. They don't want that. They don't want that publicity.
Yeah, they don't want anyone to see that, do they, Matty?
No. Look at the managers that have called about in the past and what's happened. Ralph called about. We all saw what happened. Louis and Jose have all said the same things. No, and a lot of the fans have turned on them, Pep. But they're right, but the way they went about it is wrong. So I get the fans turning on them, but fundamentally you can't take it away from them that they were both right in what they said about Man United and how it's run.
It is run poorly. We all agree on that. But maybe you don't. And that's the whole point of doing these vlogs. If you do disagree, get in touch with us. Let us know how you feel. Put it in the comments as well. Absolutely cool. It's about learning and understanding as well, because if you make a very good point and I can take that on board, then that changes my mind. There's nothing like being a flip-flop, because that means you can change. Honestly, there isn't nothing like being a flip-flop if you decide you change your mind from one day to the next because you heard a very good opinion and it changed your mind. That's progress of a kind for me. That's what I want to hear. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Smash like, share, subscribe. Rick, where can we find you, bro? Thank you for coming on once again, mate.
Just for having me on. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Rick Sanchez DJ, and you can see all my antics, me playing cricket or making tunes or shout out Man United.
Yeah, not too much shouting at Man United, but keep on with your music because that's probably doing a lot better than.
Oh yeah, way better than Man United. That's for sure, mate. Way better. It's keeping me sane, to be honest.
Matty, how you doing, mate? Where can we find you, bro?
I'm better now. I've posted my system. I've got it out. I needed to. Right. You can find me on Twitter at Matthews36380391. Whereas I'll probably tweet in negative Man United stuff, but those are purely my opinions. You can come, you can challenge me, you can give me information that you might have that I don't have regards to the club, and we can sit and debate it out on there. Or you can look at pictures of food I pull up, whatever's easier.
There you go, Matty. See, there you go. He's basically saying, come and talk with us. This is exactly what we want. Talk MU, of course, the name says it all. You are a guy that can talk about football all day long. I know it because I'm in contact with you every day, and it's not just football either, sir. So kind regards to you, mate, for being a top fellow DJ. Where can we find you, mate?
Yeah, on the Man United agenda, and also on Twitter at iTalkMU. And also, I just want to shout out Bargav, big up, bro. Been a long time not seeing you, man. How you doing? And also, there's rumours that Chris Paul is back on the scene, so we might have a reunion coming. Bargav, Chris Paul, me, Matt. Yes, I love some of that.
I love some of that too. Chris Paul's great. He literally knows everything about football around the world. If the Faroe Islands, he knows about the leagues going on in the Faroe Islands. I didn't even know football existed in the Faroe Islands, but there you go. Chris Paul does know his stuff. Honestly, I was like, oh my god! I said to him because I went to see a game in Estonia, actually a Premier League game, and he knew everything about it. And I was like, wow, I'm intrigued. You're a good lad. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Go check out the rest of our content. We did a great Gunners from All Corners yesterday. Got pretty much 300 views. Smashed it. Really good from Marley and co. And one with Charlotte as well. Introduce Yourself show. And go check out everybody else's content too, people. And we will see you again on Sunday. Take care. Bye-bye.
Right.